Good morning everyone, and welcome back to Craft Eccentricity, and I'm up again today with more from KSCRAFT. So today we're going to be doing the milk carton, which comes with this pattern backer. We're not using that, we're just going to use the plain one so that I can use some pattern Valentine paper. We have the bag topper, which is sweet stuff. Now I've already made this, and I have already made the cat. Now the cat and the sweet stuff, even though this is a bag topper, I'm going to use to decorate my box. So the first thing we're going to do is commit sacrilege, and we're going to cut that section out. So it's just ideas to show you what else you can do with your dies. So first of all, let me show you the bag topper, because it's absolutely gorgeous. Isn't that cute? And I used some black just to drop a shadow on mine, but you can see it's got this lovely border, and then it's got that stitch, and we are going to remove that section. Yes, we are. We're going to do that in a second. And I made the sweet little kitty cat, which is going to be a decoration on the box, you know, like the cat that got the cream, because it could be a milk or a cream carton. And being organised, I've already got all my bits cut out. I say that with such confidence because, you know, I'm not always organised at all, but I have cut everything out. Now I want the sides of my boxes to be plain red, and I want the fronts and backs of my boxes to have this pattern on. Now this is the Echo Park Hello Valentine digital pack. That's what this is printed from, and that's going to be mounted on top of my red card. So you may or you may not see a little bit of red peeking through, but that won't matter. So I've been away and I've cut my bits for that. But first, yeah, we're going to get the scissors out. Yes, we are. And I'm just making sure the blades are clean on this pair, and if not, I'll grab another. Yeah, see, I've got little foamy bits I haven't cleaned off that. And here's a clean pair. Woohoo! Yes. Right. Let's pop that there. Now, it comes front and back, and obviously you pop that over your pattern bag, whether it's pattern paper or cello wrap, and you can see through it, and it's got candies or whatever in there. But no, I'm just going to upset everyone. Right, that's gone. Now the next thing that I want to do is I want to track this line here. So I'm going in with my scissors, and I'm just going to cut really slowly. That's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to follow a line where I think it looks good. Now if you ever do something like this and it turns out a little bit, you know, wibbly wobbly to what you wanted, then get your embossing pad out. That's what you can do, and just dust the edges with your embossing ink, and then use some embossing powder. Right, there you go. That's what I got. I totally destroyed it to go on my bag, and of course you could put that element onto a card too. And I hope I'm not too blurred. I'm trying to be good today. Right, I'm just going to pick up my glue bottle from the floor, which is where I just put it. And I just need to pause for a second, and I'll be right back. Right, so I managed to find that. It was near the table leg, bless it. Right, so we've cut the sweet out, which is going to go onto the box. We've got these panels, which are going to be glued onto here. Now there's two of them, so I'm just going to glue one and then vanish and glue the other. So we're just going with a straight line of glue. That was a bit more than I expected there, so I'm just going to push that out a bit. A little bit in the middle just to hold it. I'm going to flip that over, line it up and stick it down. Right, so that's nice and secure on there, and that's my first panel. Right, I'm going to go and do exactly the same to the next one, and I'll be right back. Right, so those are both done, and I've got my bone folder here, and we're going to do a little bit of creasing, and then we're going to glue those panels on. Now I'm doing the heart opening. You don't have to. I think there is a way where you can kind of like use two of these and have them upwards or something, although I haven't delved too deeply into that. But if you look at that heart, you can see there are two emboss marks on it, and those will pull up towards you. So I'm doing it very gently because, there we go, because I've got horrible humidity again. So that's my little heart, and I'm going to pop that there. Now you can see that there is a score line across here. So that is going to, you know how I do it. I go along very gently just to find that line, and then along with my bone folder, and get all that dried glue off. I've always got glue all over my fingers. It looks awful. So that's that bit. And then we've got bits that bend on this. Well, I can see the emboss line and they're beautiful. I know they're going to bend. The only one that I would worry about, I don't know how I managed to nick that off. I must have caught it with something else, is this line here. So I'm going to go along and find that very gently. I don't want to stretch the paper. There we go. So I found that edge because I think that's the one that I'm going to have a problem with. And then I'm going to do exactly the same on this one. Look at that. I've done exactly the same thing on there. I don't know what's caught that, unless that's part of the dye. I must have been running it through something. I wonder if I've got something sticking up on my cutting plate. I might have to go and have a look at that. Right, so we've got that bit there. And I'm pretty confident that I'm going to be able to fold that afterwards. Right, so we've got two of these, but I'll work on one and then run off and do the other. Now, the top of your bag is where the holes are, because that's where the ribbon is going to go through. So I'll just move that up so that you can see where the panels are going. Right, so we're going to have a pretty panel here, and I'm going to have a plain red in there. So that's how that's going to go, and I will of course repeat that on this one here. So first of all, let's get some glue down. Now we can see where our score lines are. There is a score line here, and there is a score line here, and of course you've got that bend, and you've also got this bend. So you want your piece to fit neatly within that border so that all of those folds can happen. So me trying my best to see and get it even and straight, and I think that's probably it. I think I've got that down evenly. And then we have this one. I think this one's going to take a couple of minutes for me to dry, because it's such a thick heavyweight piece. I want it to be accurate with that one and accurate to the edge. So I'm just having a good old look. Right, I'm going to hold that down, do the other one, and come straight back. Right, so done that, and both of them are dry, and the next thing is to glue on your flap and also to start folding on your crease lines. Now this is where that flap is going to go, and I've got some glue on there, and I'm just going to fold it first of all and give that a score along there. I'm going to open it out again. I'm going to do the same with these. I'm just going to bend them up on their score lines. Now, I'd already done that little one that I said I may or may not have a problem with, so that's already down there. And now I can actually score that. I worry about my paper going really wavy. Excuse my throat, in this humidity. I'm pretty sure that folds in. And then we've got angles here. So my brain tells me that that goes in. So that's what I'm doing. I've got the same thing here. Now, to make that go in would take some manipulation. So first of all, let's take it along here. And rather than score on the red cardstock, which might get a shiny line on it, and my paper's sliding everywhere. Ooh, the beauty of having a pretty background. I'm going like that so that I've got that fold in, and now I need to be able to get that fold. So that could be a little bit fiddly for me. So I'm going to pinch it on the outside, and then I'm going to push it on the inside. Let me fold that over. There we go. Because I bent it, I can see my crease line. So I'm just gently going to go onto that. Because I think when the box comes together, it will kind of naturally pull in. Right, so now what I want to do is pop this onto here. And I'm going to put some glue down and then line it up. Now once again, you've got a fold line, so you want to be just before that so that it can still fold. I'm going to straighten that out for a minute. I'm going to find that edge right on that crease line. And I'm going to go there. Right, so let's push that across and fold it. Okay. Oh, that seems to have dried relatively quickly. So that is the flap, and your side should go into there. And then of course your box flaps go up like that. So that is the top. So that's the back and that's the side. Now we need to glue in a long line to make it. Now I've already folded this one. So this is going to glue onto here. And of course you want them to be straight. So it's kind of like deciding which bit goes where. Right, that goes right down onto that edge there. You see that? Your crease line will follow all the way along. So I just need to run a little bit of glue on this edge. And then I might have to vanish for a second while I hold it down. Right, trying to find the straight edge there. Okay, giving that a press. I'll be back in a couple of seconds. Right, so that is done, and I'm looking at these pieces and I don't know, my brain tells me that glue's down there. So that is exactly what I'm going to do. And if I'm wrong, I can hear you yelling at me through the screen already, but that's okay. So I'm going down there because to me that speaks of reinforcing the top edge of the box. So we'll get those bits down. Right, yeah, that to me now looks like it's a lot sturdier. So now we need to, I'm going to pop that one flat because that's going to be easier for me to work it. And you want to go up on your little flap here and on this edge here. I'm just capping off my glue bottle. And then we're going to bring over the edge of the box. Now be aware of where your glue is going to ooze when you're doing this. because you don't want to stick your box to your box. So glue it down and then let it spring up. Right, I'm just going to leave that for a couple of seconds before I start to play, and I'll be right back. Okay, so that is dry, and this bit here is surplus to requirement. So if I just flip that over and pop some glue along it, I can fold that to the inside, and then that will reinforce the top front of the box, because I believe, it's alright, I'm just folding it over here, if you can see that you only need just this one. And if I'm wrong, once again you can tell me. So I'm just smoothing that down with my bone folder. I'm going in there. I'll straighten my paper up again. And I'm just smoothing that out of the way. Now, your next things are these things. You see these embossed bits? They need to be able to fold in so that when you're looking at the top, it's kind of like that. So you've got a little bit of inward give. And then the top box section, once you've done that, should fold over. Yeah. Should fold over. Now I am totally following those embossed lines. And I'm getting that, which tells me it's not long enough. So did I do something wrong? Because your closure heart is supposed to go here. Now, it could be that, you know, although I'm doing this off camera, I'm going to try and squeeze it down, although I've got the feeling you're not supposed to. But something just tells me that has to go in even more. Maybe I haven't bent it right. But I'm keeping the camera running because it's important to see it. Right, I'll tell you what, let's glue the base and then go back up there and look. I mean, one of the things I will never ever do on camera with any product ever, let me straighten that up, is lie to anyone. If something doesn't work and it's not my error, I am going to clearly state it always. So I'm gluing the base down now. Right, so let's get that glued straight and accurate. You can see that is glued straight and accurate. I'm just running that line of glue. I'm just going to hold that for a few seconds and I'll be right back. Right, so I've got the bottom on, and for the side, I'm going to say I have used a heavyweight cardstock because when I make things like this, I kind of, you know, want them to last. And here's what I'm thinking, that pressure has to be applied here. Obviously, if you're using a thinner weight cardstock, then you certainly don't have to do what I'm doing. And then once you've got that, that will reach to the ends there. That's correct. And that is how that is going to look. So it does reach to the end once you start teasing it in this area here. So that's not an error. So what I need to do now, and I can see where the center is, if I wiggle that over, can you see I've actually got the line running through the middle, so I know exactly where to glue my heart. So I'm just looking at that. I'm going to make a pencil mark inside of that window and know that I need to be within that region with my glue. And I am absolutely pretty sure that I'm going to need to wait just for a couple of minutes for my glue to dry before I attempt to close it. Right, I can see my pencil marks and I want to be within that area, and then I want that little straight line running straight through the middle of my heart. Right, I'm going to let that dry for a couple of minutes and I'm going to come right back. Right, I went away for about 5 minutes because of my humidity and waiting for this heart to dry. Now, I did also thread a little bit of baker twine in there to make a little handle. So now we're going to do what I'm suggesting, and that is to apply pressure to the top so that you can bring this over. And then I'm just going to finagle it just to get the little heart in there. I'm pretty sure it's going to work. Now, for some reason, I've got my handle stuck in there. And then you open your heart out. There you go. So you can see the fold there. You just need to apply a little bit of pressure in on the ends, especially if you're using a heavyweight cardstock. And I do apologise for all this sliding around. And that is what your little box, your little milk box or cream box is going to look like. So I do have a handle on there. Let's get some clarity back. Oh, and of course we've got the bits that were meant to be the bag topper that I'm going to stick on there. So I've got my glue. Aren't you glad you watched? Yeah. It's just nice to know that it's not you, if you know what I mean. It's not the product and it's not necessarily you. It can be the materials that you're using. And as I said, very heavyweight cardstock I used. Now, I think on my kitty cat, I'm going to put that up on a foam pad. So we've got a little bit of dimension on the front of that box. So I'm just going to grab my foam tape. I'm going to flip little kitty over and cut a piece of foam tape off. And I'll use my gunked up scissors because they're already gunked up to do that. So we're going to have our little kitty cat there. But it's such a sweet box. And I'm going to go at a jaunty little angle. There we are. A little bit matchy-matchy. And you know, I still have one of my cherries left. So, why not? Yeah, where's my glue? I'm going to put a little bit of glue just in the middle here. And then down to the tops of those cherries. And I'm going to tuck those under there. Like that. I'm just going to let that dry a second and I'll be right back. And here it is, our finished little sweetie. Isn't that cute? Using all of the items there from KSCRAFT's Valentine release. And as I said, you know, this red cardstock is 300 GSM. I mean, that's bookmaking quality cardstock. So it is very heavyweight. So if you're going to make something, you know, that's got a lot of strong cardstock to it, make sure that you manipulate your sides to fold so that you can get your heart in there. But isn't that great? I just absolutely love that. Love this lacy edge. Right. So, if you stuck with me to the end, you have seen it all. And I thank you so much for joining me. I am going to be up again tomorrow with more from KSCRAFT. Have an absolutely awesome day. And as usual, all links below. Bye.